with the music we were having before you joined. But to be honest, great to have you all here. Welcome. I see we'll start in just a few minutes. Meanwhile, you're free to say hi, to unmute. We have here Jan already taking the lead on that. We had Esther as well, Rafael. Great to see someone with the same name. Giovannia, Colleen, Aomi. Also, feel free to, if you want to show us your face, that would be amazing as well, guys. While we are starting this event and getting more people in. Priscilla, please prepare some messages warning everyone that we are live. Or Ayo, by the way. All right. What a moment, guys, that we are all here together. We are missing the music, but I'll fill in the space for it. How are you guys doing? Jan, Kenrick, great to see you, long time. Sean, great, welcome everyone. We have
Good to
Tommy
see
here as
everyone.
well, Quasi, Beatrice, and Abdul. All right, pretty cool, I guess. I guess we still have people joining, but I think we can start a little bit. We're already 5 minutes in, so we can start with a little introduction of why we are all here today. So, welcome everyone. Great to have you here on this Wednesday to the Open Ideation Challenge finale. This is a big moment, I guess, after a long time, after so many ideas submitted, almost 150 ideas submitted. We had a lot of work from the CRISP, a committee made of community members that went through all these ideas you guys submitted and that chose the finalist list of some of the best ideas. And today we come here to vote to decide which ideas should go through, which ideas should be turned into an RFP, into a community project that we should build. So basically, we are going to pick these ideas and, with your choice, bring them to life, bring them to reality, and that's pretty exciting. That's an awesome impact we'll be all doing here together. So really happy to see you here, to have you in this moment, and congratulations for being part of this moment. It's the first time we are doing this. We are experimenting with this ideation challenge, and the outcomes will be also an experimentation, and hopefully they'll be as exciting and as surprising as the ideas we've got for this round. So I guess would be a good moment now to share with you the agenda and what we have for today. Besides the presentations of the proposals that came to this ideation challenge, we'll have as well some interesting presentations and also some other some other how do you say it? Announcements for the future, things that will happen and that might be exciting for everyone here. So do stay tuned until the end. Let me just share my screen and show you a little bit of what we have for today before I pass it on to the next person. So for today, guys, we start with this little introduction. Then we have Jan telling us a little bit more about deep funding and about this ideation challenge. Then we start with the highlight of the show with the finalists pitching and showing us their ideas. And then we are going to be able to vote on these proposals. Finally, and while there will be a period where the data analytics circle will be evaluating the votes and coming into a final decision that will be shared with you publicly in this session, so do wait for it. But meanwhile, we'll have a presentation from Esther and from the CRISP, all the CRISP team that has been involved in this process, and will tell you about a little bit more about how it was. And finally, we'll have as well some closing remarks and important updates. All right. With that being said, unless someone wants to add anything, I think we can move on to the first presentation, and we can have Jan, please, uh, introduce us to why we are all here together and make it in a much more eloquent way than I can.
I doubt it. I really doubt it. And actually, I should try to keep it uncommonly, uncharacteristically short because we want to give the stage to all the winners, of course, to present their ideas. And I'm personally also looking forward to that because I wasn't part of the selection process, so I'm really curious what we will be seeing right after. One thing I saw in the agenda, but I don't think you read it aloud, maybe on purpose. Website, ideation website presentation. I believe the latest idea is to do that in our next town hall. And that would make this session more like looking back, and that's what I will do until where we are right now. And then next section, we will continue and look forward from where we are right now and what will happen after. Because this is not the end. In a way, it is. We have this selection process done, but it's also very much a beginning of a new process. But more about that later. Kenrick, you already have your hand up. I
I
haven't.
do.
I barely started yet.
Well, let me just say, as some know, but maybe not everyone, we were one of the eight selected, but we chose to withdrew. And I was wondering if I could take a minute at some point to explain why we withdrew.
I leave that to the facilitators of this meeting.
Hello, Kenrick. Well, I guess I have a lot of decision power. For sure, I think we should give a voice to everyone. I hope you could wait a little bit, maybe until after the presentations, if that would be fine. And then we
Sure.
could talk
Thank
a
you.
little bit about that closer to the end.
Okay, sure.
Thank you so much. And thank
Appreciate
you
it.
for raising your hand and bringing topics.
I'll make a short. I already plan to make a short mention of what I think of what Kenrick is also wanting to mention. But then this might easily turn into a long discussion, as we already saw on Mattermost. So I think it's indeed proper to give the stage first to the awarded teams, and then see what time is left for a statement or a discussion or whatever is needed. So coming back to yeah, why are we doing this? So why have we started this process? We started at some point going away from having just rounds, deep funding rounds, in having also RFPs, requests for proposals, as a process. And what we have seen over the past year, year and a half, is that that process is quite successful in a way, but most RFPs are coming from SingularityNet. And they're great RFPs, they're real serious tech, and they attract also senior developers. So I'm really happy with that. However, from the very beginning, I figured we should not let only SingularityNet or third party partners for that matter uh, be in charge of that process. I also want the community to be part of that. And I want the community also to come together and work on this process of creating RFPs. And every RFP will start with an idea. And the way what RFPs do is they separate the process of definition from the process of execution. And with this ideation process, we take it one step further. We separate also the ideation step as a separate part because somebody may have a great idea, but not be a great developer or a great writer of RFPs. So by having these three separate steps in the process, we are catering for getting the best of everything. So if we start with a great idea, the chances that we get a great proposal out of that are much higher. And that we'll have a great, but also useful and viable product out of it also becomes a lot greater. And yeah, there's nothing better than doing that with the whole community. So I'm really happy about the people that started this. and contribute to this, even though it might be quite a while ago when you submitted your idea. And that has everything to do with the learning process. It's the first time we're doing it, and we encountered some things, and we're learning a lot. One of the first things we learned was the internal circle selection process and voting process. So we started by voting CRISP, and for who doesn't know what the acronym stands for, it's Core Reputation RFP Ideation Selection Panel. I had to sneak at I forget it all the time, so I had to read it. Core RFP ideation selection panel. So the idea was going from idea to RFP and then a final project. So we needed this entity that would make the selection. I knew that I wouldn't want to be in it, but I would like the circles or the wider community or whatever be part of that. So that took us a while to get there, and I won't get into details. That would take a whole session. Um, and then the CRISP started. And then the CRISP also went through a learning process, because how do you select the best idea? Do you all do it together, or do you do it in stages? And they came up with the idea of a pre-CRISP selection process. But then the question is, how do you determine what the best process is, both in the pre-stage and in the next stage? So that took a lot of thinking, and yeah, we went through a whole very thorough process together, which eventually led to these selected ideas that you will be presented to today. And I think with the learnings that we have, and not only the winners of tonight, but everybody here is already a winner, of course. But yeah, some of you will also get awarded. We have also, so that is an achievement, but another big achievement in the long run, more important, is that we also are able to turn all these learnings into a better and improved process, which will be the topic of next week in the town hall. One of the learnings, and now I'm referring to what Kenrick mentioned, is also on the legal part. We totally forgot that we didn't address these particular things in our terms and conditions. So we had to mitigate that by, well, we used a waiver for that. But this is another thing that we will improve in next rounds, to make sure that everybody, when they submit an idea, they know what the conditions are. And the conditions are that if you submit an idea, you don't submit it to deep funding per se, but you're submitting it to the community. That's what we want. We want that idea to be, we want the community to own that idea and be free to do with it what is necessary. Maybe some ideas will make it to an RFP or something else, and some not, but they might be very useful in another way. And we want really to make this whole process as simple as possible. We want to take out any legal complexity, and we want to make sure that the community has the ownership, and that when we bring in an RFP creation development team, or when we bring in a final development team, that it is and will remain to be community owned. That's our intention. So yeah, a lot learned. I'm sure, even though we will improve a lot after this, there's still a journey to go. And yeah, happy to look forward to that and learn along the way together with you. And yeah, let's move on to this presentation. I'm really looking forward to them.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much, Jan, for the introduction. Always great to have some words. And I think it was a great context for this session. We have also a lot of going in the comments, so do check it out. For sure, a really important point while we introduce this next section, the section where we are going to hear about the ideas and the presenters, it's important to know exactly that. They are just ideas, raw ideas, still in a very early stage. not projects yet. And then hopefully that we'll be here together deciding which ones should be turned into projects, whether through RFPs or other methods. That being said, I think we can, before we start with the presentations, we wanted to give everyone a fair chance. And we wanted to give also more details for you guys to do the voting in the best possible, how do you say it, within the best possible, with the more informed way possible, I would say. So with that in mind, we have a little document that I'll be sharing here in the chat where you have a summary of all the proposals. They are by no specific order. We randomize the order of the proposals and the order of the presentations, and it will be followed here. And you can check a little bit a summary about each of the presentations if you feel that what the 3 minutes the proposers will have is not enough. You can always learn a little bit more from this document. So do feel free to open, check it out, and make yourself informed. And with that out of the way, I think we can move to what matters. And we can follow our agenda and invite the first proposer with a proposal called AUN Uncertainty Navigator. We have Barnabas. Barnabas, are you on the call? Are you ready to present?
Yeah, good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Barnabas. I believe you potentially have a presentation. Am I correct?
Yeah, a PPT. Should I share my screen?
Yes, let me give you the co-host permissions, which you have right now. And yes, please feel free to share your screen. I believe, Mayor, you'll be tracking the time. You have 3 minutes, Barnabas. We'll try to keep it fair for everyone.
I already gave 2 minutes, but I can restart, of course.
Yeah, start. We will only count when he starts the presentation, I would say.
All right.
Barnabas, you're showing us, yeah, now you're showing us the PowerPoint.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Today I'll be presenting AI Uncertainty Navigator, AUN, for Singularity Net. So here's the presentation. So the problem, today's AI system often speak with full confidence, even when the situation is uncertain. This becomes dangerous in areas like health, finance, and research. Users don't want an AI that guesses confidently. They want an AI that tells the truth without uncertainty. Real life is not black and white. And if SingularityNet wants trustworthy AGI, we need a reasoning layer that can express probability instead of pretending to always be right. The AUN solution, right? The AI Uncertainty Navigator, or AUN, is a probabilistic reasoning model built on models like Hyperon. If you don't know, Hyperon is a SingularityNet advanced AI engine. It is being built to support artificial general intelligence, AGI, by letting different AI components work together smoothly. And then NuNet. NuNet is just a decentralized computing network under the SingularityNet ecosystem. It allows everyone to contribute spare computing power like laptops and so on and so forth. So we are going to use, if the idea is selected and it reached the RFP, is going to be built on those models. So instead of giving a single confident answer, AUN provide clear probability breakdowns. For example, I used to just tell you, okay, this is what I think, and then this is the percentage I think is true. So AUN becomes a reusable BGI module, so every developer in the ecosystem can plug into the application. So it's going to be like an LLM, where it have like a web-based application, a mobile app, where it has API. It can be free for the meantime, so that developers can build using that LLM. And next. So why it should be selected? The idea directly supports SingularityNet AGI alignment goals. It increased NuNet computing demand. It builds a new BGI capability that the whole ecosystem can use, and it opens the door to real-world adoption and industry partnership. This funding has the opportunity to fund a model that enhances trust, safety, and transparency, giving SingularityNet a new competitive edge. AUN makes AGI feel like real AI, honest, clear, and aligned with how humans make decisions. Yeah, thank you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Barnabas. That was quick. You still have, I think, 20 seconds, something like that.
Yeah.
Good job. You don't have to run. That being said, I think we can have 1 or 2 minutes for questions. Is there anyone with a question for Barnabas?
Hey, I would like to ask a question.
Yes, please.
Hello, it's
Oh,
Mahdi. Thanks for the presentation. Very interesting topic, and it's a topic that I have also worked on it in the past. So that's why I'm asking the following question: is that you mentioned that in order to make the AI reliable, you are gonna output probabilities. Like for you in your example, for example, you had the 70% this, 20% that, 10% that. How are you going to make sure that those outputted probabilities are reliable themselves? In other words, I think just the fact that you output some probability is not a sign of reliability. You have to go one step further and make sure that the outputted probabilities themselves are correct. And what do you have in mind to do that?
Okay, so thank you for your question. I think probability, right, in terms of in this context, most AI, I think is being trained, right, to kind of like give response based on a prompt. And the response will be like a certain kind of like the AI is certain that this 100% what if asked for. And under I think most models, they have like AI is not 100%, like the information is not 100% true. You have to cross-check it. So those are the things I think that if we put in place that AI can be can have like a probability kind of like module that I think that's where this solution is going towards.
Um, have you seen existing solutions that do that? Like, in other words, that they convert normal AI methods into probabilistic ones?
I've not seen one. Yeah, I've not seen one for
Okay.
now.
thank you, Maddie. Thank you for the question. We have Esther. You can quickly add.
Yeah,
You have a question?
I just wanted to add quickly here that it's important to remember that the ideators here are not going to necessarily be developers. So they might not necessarily be able to answer really deep, detailed questions about how things are going to be executed in a technical way. And I'm not saying that Barnabas is not capable of answering those questions. I just mean that that for the participants going forward, we should bear in mind that this has still got to go through an RFP writing process where the scope of the problem will be properly assessed and so on. So it's just important to remember that these are not the same as proper proposals for a grant round. These are, maximum one A4 side of idea.
Thank you, Esther. I think that's an important clarification for everyone to kind of know that we have these 3 stages, right? The idea, clarifying the problem afterwards, and then moving forward into people proposing to develop a solution. Well, Lazarus, you had your hand up, and we had somebody else. Yes, Lazarus?
Yes, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Thank you. I just want to throw a little light on what I consider the probability that is being presented on the idea of Barnabas. I think when you are dealing with AI tools and then you are in a request of making a judgment about a particular thing, it is usually numerical and it gives you between a scale. So the uncertainty that is trying to breach in the AI results is in the probability section where it gives you a range on numerical values based on what the probability stands for and then the results that it seeks to present. So it is not really based on the certainty or the reality of what is actually being put in place, but then a numerical value that is being provided by the prompt that you give the AI. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lazarus. And with that being said, well, we'll need to move on into the next presentations. Thank you for everyone who spoke and raised their hands. And for the questions, I would like to remind everyone as well that there will be 3 winners during this session here, the 3 top voted projects. And also there will be a reward for these winners if their idea gets selected, and an additional reward if it proceeds to become an approved RFP, if it's feasible and if it moves forward. So definitely exciting, that part, to have people being rewarded by their ideas. Barnabas, thank you so much. And with that being said, we'll move into the next proposal, which is the meta-based decentralized workflow orchestrator by Ashwini Paul. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. The presentation is going to be a video presentation, in this case, pre-prepared by Ashwini, and we're gonna put it on right now for you. And I believe, I'm not sure if Ashwini is here, but he has expressed his availability to be able to answer any questions on the chat. So if you guys have questions on the presentation, please put them on the chat, and we'll try to get you an answer. All right. Well, I'm not sure. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much. And can you hear?
Not yet, Rahul.
Not from the video yet.
Not
Just your
from the
voice.
video.
Yeah.
That's bad. Ayo, can you try to share?
Oh, okay, let me see.
Hi, defunding community and simulate.
Yes, we could hear before. Now it's stopped, right?
Yes, sorry, I was asking, but I guess I was on mute. All right, so let's go from the beginning.
Hi, defunding community and similarity net team. My name is Ashwini Pal. Today I'm presenting an idea for Similarity Net Marketplace. Similarity Net Marketplace holds multiple powerful individual AI services. Suppose a developer needs to develop a complex AGI application, like first step is to generate an image, then caption that image, and the last is to simply take the input from the task 1 and task 2 to generate a short story or a poem. Right, right now, developer needs to manually write integration codes for joining any two individual AI services. This this is like an integration barrier. Writing custom code is messy, error-prone. I am presenting an idea, meta-based decentralized workflow orchestrator, to reduce this problem. Instead of writing custom codes every single time, a developer can simply write logical meta script defining workflow. Now, the orchestrator's execution engine can simply take that script and securely coordinate the data flow between the AI services on the network. It handles the data flow, payments, and sequencing operation automatically. Orchestrator's Meta API and execution engine makes chaining AI services extremely easy and simple. A developer can simply define the script one, write the script once, and can rerun over it multiple times on the decentralized network. By using the orchestrator, we can lower the entry to barrier for new developers by making it easier to chain different AI services together. We can increase the token utility and platform revenue. The applications developed through orchestrator are transparent, reliable, and self-adapting. This also supports the VGI initiative. Thank you for your attention. If you have any questions, please put them in the chat.
All right. Thank you so much, Ashwini. You couldn't present live, but you could make the video. So thank you so much for that. I hope it was also understandable. The audio was not the best, but I think the idea went through. At least I could hear it. That being said, if there's any questions, please put it on the chat. If you want to raise your hand and ask the question, I can put it on the chat if needed afterwards. So please feel free to have any questions. Well, I guess the silence means no questions. Oh, we have a comment, but I believe it's still before for the previous conversation. Yusuf, you have your hand up? Yusuf, are you there? You can speak now. I guess you might be having problems unmuting yourself. We can hear you.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. No, most AI systems today struggle with uncertainty and often give confident answers, even when they are not they are not sure. My question here is how will AUN technically achieve better uncertainty quantification, probability calibration, and transparent reasoning compared to mainstream or other AI models? And in terms of practical, which specific failure points in today's AI, such as hallucination, overconfidence, or limited interpretability, or lack of traceability, does AUN aim to solve this, and through what mechanism, if I may ask?
All right, thank you so much, Yusuf. I'm not currently seeing Ashwani in the chat.
I think it sounds like a question for the previous presentation, doesn't it? Isn't this for the Uncertainty Navigator? So I would encourage anybody who thinks of a question after that presentation has finished to do it in the chat, so that we're not disrupting the Q&A sessions for the other presenters. What do you think?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I get it. I wanted to ask earlier, but I couldn't get the chance.
Okay.
Sorry for that. I don't mean to step on you. I just think it's important to give the current presenters the opportunity to answer any questions about the projects that they're presenting as well. But there's a lot of active goings on in the chat, so I would certainly encourage that.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yusuf, do you think you can put it on the chat?
Yeah, I can.
And continue there? Awesome.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for the question as well.
Well, if we don't have any questions for Ashwini, we can move on into the next one. And here we have the AI-powered anti-corruption watchdog by Rolf. Rolf, are you here to present?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Do you have a presentation to share?
Yeah, I have. Good evening, everyone. It's actually
Good
evening.
evening.
Yeah.
You can share your screen now.
Okay. Comment. So, all right, putting up my slides. All right, let me know. Can you see my?
Not yet. Now we can.
Yes.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. I'm Raphael John, and I'm here to present the topic, the AI-powered anti-corruption watchdog. Corruption actually is not abstract. It's the kind of invisible tax we pay when hospital funds disappear, when roads are never completed, or when government tasks are not completed. So today, actually, corruption survived not because there's no data, but because there's no a unified and intelligent and trusted way to see the full picture. Now, the hidden connections that are hard to see, and actually, as I mentioned, there are public data that is scattered everywhere. Whistleblowers are not safe. The people that actually tip about the corruption that is going on in the system are not safe, and they risk the chance of being out there, and their families and even their job is also at risk when they try to even tip out any of these. And the problem right now, okay. So, as I actually mentioned, budgets are actually in one place. And the problem actually that AI and decentralization were designed to solve. That's the idea. This is the kind of problem where AI and decentralization are meant to solve. Now, my AI anti-corruption watchdog, the model is actually just collect public money and company data, of course. And actually, AI found strange or risky spending. We all know how AI is able to understand patterns. Now, to do away with that, and it's a safe place for people, since this is going to be on a decentralized network, it's no government agency or it's not centralized. Corruption exists because there's a centralized system. And now it's actually a safe place for people because it's going to be a decentralized network. And records are locked, which is where ASI comes in. And why Singularity Net and ASI is because no single person or government control it. As I said, corruption exists because there is a centralized system. But once that system gets decentralized, AI learns the pattern and understands, okay, there's an anomaly here, and it flags it. And many AI tools can actually work together on the Singularity Net platform, and records cannot actually be erased thanks to the ASI model, where logs are not actually easily released. And the community, of course, the idea of Singularity Net, the community helps confirm the truth, and it's actually built for justice, not actually for profit. And so the community gets to judge all of this. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Rafael, for your courage presenting here and for sharing a little bit more about the idea. That being said, are there any questions for Rafael? We have Jan with an up. Please, Jan.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I have a question or just a remark. At first, you got me worried. I thought this is Big Brother watching you, and what could go wrong here? And what happens with false positives? That's still a little bit of a concern. But when I looked closer, I saw this is only about public money, right? So only about the governance spending to a company. Actually, I think this would be a great idea even without AI. So the AI might help a little bit with pattern recognition if there are really a lot of spendings, making more accessible to humans. But I think even if we would not have AI, but there would be a public record where you could just track any subsidies or whatever that are being given, as we are doing in deep funding. Actually, we're trying to do that. Hopefully tomorrow we have a new portal up on that, but that's another thing. Yeah, it would be great if that transparency would also be available for community spending. Have you given any idea on how to track records? Maybe that is a question. Whether fiat in crypto it would be easy, but do you also see that working for fiat, which is what the most part of the world is using?
Okay, I actually think that to some extent this can work for fiat because as much as if the data can be, there's really a way that the data can be collected. This will definitely work for fiat. There's a structured system where these entries are being made. I think it can work for fiat, yeah.
Yeah, so that needs a little bit more of deep diving. But this is an idea, and it would be great to see somebody really
Yeah,
detail and find solutions for all these tricky things.
yeah. Thanks for the question, Jan. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's definitely an interesting problem to be solved. One that brings a lot of challenges, but where technology shows promise of being able to solve it, which is good. It's a ray of hope, let's say. Thank you for the presentation, Rafael. And now we're gonna move forward to the next one, which is Refugee Care AI by Rakesh. Rakesh, are you here?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. Let me see. I think you should be able to present. You have
Yeah, I do
something to
have.
present?
Right, I do have, yeah. I hope the screen is visible.
Not yet. Now it is. It was loading, but
Right.
now it's working. Feel free to start whenever you feel ready.
Okay. So to begin off, it's great to be back on the stage tonight, pitching my idea. So I'll start now. Yeah. So I present you Refugee Care AI. So as we know, there are millions of people displaced due to different crises. So again, they endure untreated trauma and medical neglect in uncrowded camps, fueling despair and violence. So we propose a solution to support mental health and medical care for the displaced community through compassionate AI-driven solutions that can detect silent crises and prevent conflict in overcrowded refugee camps. Yeah. So the crisis behind the numbers. So the combination of untreated trauma, medical neglect, and systematic barrier in overcrowded camps, people become refugees, and again for many reasons. It could be conflict, war, natural disasters, economic collapse, and food insecurity. But each pathway brings intense emotional and medical needs. So the evidence reveals an urgent crisis. More than 123 million people forcibly displaced people worldwide. There are more than 15% experience social ideations, which is 2 to 7x more than the host populations, and 71% hosted in low resource settings with inadequate medical health support. And again, why do the current system fail? There is again severe understaffing, again getting everyone to be talked or it could be counseled would be very tough right now. So thousands of refugees per counselor doctor, making individualized care nearly impossible in overcrowded camps. And even the language fragmentations, getting the language right would be very tough. Low literacy barriers. People who could not write or read could not involved in current situations, current meaning the formal reporting systems. And again, there is late detections. So the untreated trauma would lead to again emotional strain, sleep disruption, physical distress, which would again turn to violence, as studies point out to. So what do we propose? We propose a triage of solutions where we have a chatbot, we have an AI analysis engine, and a priority grouping. So a refugee would begin with chatbot, where they would start with a warm conversation. It could be like, how are you feeling today? Even a few words would help. So it would help them open up like, we would start analyzing their voice. We have an AI which could analyze the voice and then a video to understand their emotional cues. So this could help us analyze, okay, where they're at right now. Are they in a red zone where they need urgent human response? Are they in yellow zone where they could have a scheduled follow-up? Or a green zone where, okay, they would be provided some interventions where they could have some self-guided care. And what do we get from this? So early detections will help in identifies increasing emotional strength before it escalate into conflict, violence, and a medical crisis, reduce overload, and moreover, community stability. Yeah.
Right. Maybe last sentence to finish, Rakesh?
Yeah. So again, this would give camps scalable early warning systems grounded in evidence, designed for real world construct, and it could help scale up with AI integrations. We could even detect, okay, what's happening right now, where the resource would be best directed to. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Any questions for Rakesh? I see some people clapping in the audience, some hearts. Well, that's good. Please feel free to. Jan has raised his hand. Yes, Jan. Also,
If nobody else wants, then I'll take my turn.
Please.
My question is very naively, I'm sure, but do people in refugee situations usually have access to mobile phones or something? And do these mobile phones have enough capabilities to provide this kind of service?
Right. The idea is like we would have a tablet in a camp where people would come. So again, it could be like one tablet for say 100 people. So we would not. That's what we are thinking right now. So it's not a complete solutions. We're just thinking through what could happen. Even because a Raspberry Pi, a small camera would help us analyze these things. So we're just thinking what could possibly be given here. We don't need a smartphone just to capture video and voice. So we're just thinking around.
Great. If we can help in that area, that would be wonderful. I can imagine if we would take this to an RFP, that the first thing to do would try to figure out if we could do some research and ask
Right.
actually the people and in refugee camps or around refugee camps and Red Cross and all those things, what would be most needed for people there. And then, yeah, it would be very interesting to see if we can.
Exactly. Yeah.
any more questions? I see a lot of conversations going in the chat, but any questions here for Rakesh? Well, I guess the silence means you did a great job explaining it. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Yeah.
Rakesh, thank you for coming, for showing up, and for presenting, and best of luck also for the voting.
Thank
And
you, everyone. Yeah.
And Rafael, if I may, it's
yes,
not a direct comment to this idea itself, but in general for the framework of the ideation. Um, I see here a lot of comments on potential issues with the ideas like hallucinations and so on. Also, what Ian mentioned now about devices and so and forth. The thing is, and I'm second Esther here, as we are judging more the ideas, these potential issues that might rise from the ideas are also something that we are willing to overcome with the application, execution, and implementation deployment of the idea. If a special or even a tablet is needed to put this idea on the ground, yes, this is also depending on the type of format of funding that we are having for this idea. This will be funded as well, as we had in the BGI round, for instance, where some projects needed sensors for the solution to become real, right? In this sense, let's try to not focus that much in these cases, but in the overall idea. Of course, if you have to compare, as we are having here, kind of a competition, you have to take in consideration the cost and feasibility of having a device for this. But in general, don't make this stop you in voting in one or another idea. And again, I'm not talking directly to Rakesh's idea, but in the overall process. It's about the idea and how it will impact the world.
well said, Rafael. Exactly that. I think we need to think in terms of impact. What's the impact? What's the value? And then, of course, there are challenges in all these ideas, but that's part of life. That's part. The trick is trying to solve them, and that's why you move on to RFP. You move on to projects and teams that can try to tackle these issues and bring them to life. That's our innovation comes to life. So we need to remember that always. And with that spirit in mind, we can move on into the next idea, which is actually our last idea. We are presenting 5 finalists today, and this idea is the Deep Funding University, DFUN, Deep Funding University Network, by Ayomi Shuga. Ayomi, are you here? I've seen you here.
Yeah, hi, I'm here.
Hello, welcome. Do you have
Hello.
something to share with us? A screen, a presentation, anything?
Yep, I do have.
All right, fantastic. So feel free to share it whenever you can. And
Okay, then I'm not used to Zoom. Ah, shit,
okay.
I think this one.
Oh, fantastic. It's starting to share something, is loading.
Okay.
And now we can see it. I guess you can put it on maybe presentation mode so we can have a
Yeah,
bigger screen.
sure. Yeah. Uh, how do
Fantastic.
I? There's no way I can like move this up. Is it okay like this?
Yeah, it's okay like this. Feel free to start
Okay.
whenever you feel comfortable and ready.
Okay, I'm ready. Yeah, so good day, everyone. My name is Ayomi, and I'm excited to present my idea, Deep Funding University Network. This idea is meant to be like a structured network of like university associations that brings deep funding, into global academic communities. And right now, deep funding's presence in universities is quite limited. But kudos to the dev outreach and maybe the marketing circle for the hackathon going on at the moment, because those are the kind of things Deep for DUFUN will be doing. So for more understanding of what I'm trying to say, I have 3 slides to present. The first one is the problem and opportunity. Yeah. Um, a lot of students and researchers with brilliant ideas don't like know how to begin. They lack mentorship. They are not even aware of some funding pathways, and these are real problems, right? Another thing is that universities, they generate new talent every year. People graduate and people come in and things like that. So this is like an opportunity there for deep funding, right? So yeah, that is the problem. And in every problem, there's always an opportunity. So I think DFUN will be like um a bridge that solves that problem there. And then the next slide is the solution. Yeah, like I said earlier, that DFEN is meant to be like a global network of like investor association, right? So DFUN is going to like solve the problems I mentioned earlier in such a way that universities will have like a chapter of like deep funding chapter, you understand, where they will offer workshops, seminars, hackathons, on decentralized AI, mentorship, proposal writing, and all of that, right? So defunding like would sorry DFUN would like make use of this raw talent that are in the academic um, communities. The next slide is uh, the impact and alignment. um Universities, like I said earlier, that universities like naturally refresh talent every year. So this is like an opportunity for DFU in such a way that it transform this into like a continuous talent engine for deep funding. When students graduate, then there will be like new set of them. So there'll be like a process of like training for like the next set of like students that will come in and all of that. So it keeps like going on like that. And DFUN establishes this funding as a recognized ecosystem for students, faculty, and researchers. So people can be like, oh, have you heard of this fund? This fund is actually an organization or an initiative where you can go if you have brilliant
All
ideas and
right.
you like want to turn it through that.
Thank you,
Okay,
Naomi.
thank
I'm
you.
sorry. The time is
Yeah.
over, but I
Yeah.
think, oh, you see, you already have some positive comments in the chat. I think people got the message, so don't worry. Great job. Thank you so much. Guys, any questions for Ayomi? Or comments? You can also give a comment if you want. It could be more than just questions. Just don't be shy. It's nice to have more people speaking. You're not getting people in the raising their hands, but you're getting a lot of positive comments in the chat, Ayomi. So I think something pretty great. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ayomi. Um, Awesome presentation. One more. Thank you all to everyone here who presented today and who had the courage to come and just share your ideas with us. It's great to see what you thought when you created these proposals, and it's great to have a little bit more context and to be able to vote and select the best ideas. And we are coming to that moment, the moment of the voting, the moment we've all been waiting for. Before that, I will just ask the CRISP, any member of the CRISP, if you'd like to say anything, a few words or anything before we do the voting, or if we should move right away into the voting and then address the rest of the agenda afterwards.
It was hard to filter many of the ideas. There were so many really great ideas, but I think that the crisp and the pre-crisp, I think that the ideas today really deserve to be there. And I want to thank you all for coming and for presenting and really making your ideas shine. Some of them, they're so varied as well. I really enjoy the diversity of the ideas here today. So yeah, congratulations, all of you. And yeah, really, really lovely to hear the ideas brought to life as well. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. If there is also no more things, we can go to voting. I think Ubio had a question, but Mayor already answered exactly. It was really important that the teams would agree on these legal aspects that are going to be, I guess, discussed a little bit more later. And also was important that we had a proof of life. Some teams, as Esther was mentioning, were unresponsive in their contact emails, and as such, we were unable to reach out to them. That being said, I think we can move on to the voting. Just as a quick note to the data analytics circle, Oscar and Alfred, it's better for you not to go to a breakout room for the voting calculation. It's better for you to stay here so you can see all the data. I think when you go to the breakout room, there will be problems with the voting data. So please stay here, don't leave. That being said, let's launch the voting, guys. Feel free to vote. Take your time. 5 ideas. It's just a rating, 1 to 5. 1 the lowest priority, 5 the highest priority. And yeah, just be honest about what you thought and vote. Yes, Mayor, I'm sorry. Co-hosts and organizers don't get to vote. Mayor, so we just watch, we don't vote. That being said, if anyone has any questions or anything about any notes, please feel free to unmute and speak. I'll keep you posted. We'll give a few minutes for the voting. We are already at a 25% participation, so if you haven't voted yet, please do. And the idea is that after this, we will calculate the average rating. You vote from 1 to 5, then an average rating calculation for each proposal is done with these numbers. And afterwards, we are going to present the winners after the next panel and next discussions. Lazarus, I don't know if you just joined or if you joined before, but you should have a voting pop-up showing up in your Zoom account. Is it not showing up for you?
Lazarus was a speaker. Might be is the case, one of the proposers.
Let me see if I can find Lazarus here. I don't think it was where is.
Okay, perhaps Lazarus just made a question and then
And yes, I
I missed.
cannot see Lazarus' ears. So if you're here, Lazarus, please speak. That will help.
I can see him, but he's not, he can still vote. He doesn't have co-host
No,
options
he
or
should
anything.
be able, exactly, he should be able to vote. All right, we have already 76% of the voting. We'll leave one more minute for everyone who might not have finished yet. So last minute, guys, and then we'll be wrapping up the voting and we'll show both these results and the end results at the end. Oh, and by the way, while we're here, thank you to everyone who showed up and came here to vote. You know, it's very important. It's very nice to have a community of people to vote, to care about these ideas, care about the impact. Um, and that's what matters. You know, it doesn't matter to us, not, we might have different opinions, but I think together with our brains, we are going to reach better decisions. And spending your time here in this session, trying to get informed, and then voting, it's really important and really beneficial. So congratulations and thank you for being part of this event and this big moment. Lazarus, can you tell me, are you not getting the pop-up? Because if you give it here, it doesn't really work for a calculation, right? Can you unmute or maybe give a little bit more information? Can you see? That's really strange. Have you clicked X on the pop-up maybe when you got it in the beginning or something? Hmm, not sure, but let's do it like this. Maybe the data analytic team, Oscar, are you there? Maybe you can reach out to Lazarus here on Zoom, private message, and
Okay.
get his voting. Would that be
Okay.
possible?
Let me reach out to him.
I guess. Um, that being said, well, we already have significant participation, 87% answering ratio. Ah, you voted already. Awesome, Lazarus. No need, Oscar. Thank you so much. Um, all right, so we're gonna end up the poll and answering the question, when will the next presentation take place? We're gonna have a presentation now, afterwards, of the CRISP, and then we have also the discussion point that Kenrick wanted to raise afterwards. So meanwhile, we're gonna end the voting for everyone. 91% participants. Thank you to everyone who participated. Probably almost everyone except for Esther and and others that couldn't vote. So that's pretty amazing, guys. It's a lot of voting. And we're gonna finish up the poll now. Oscar and Alfred, can you confirm you can see the poll results? And that
Yes, I
everything
can.
is good on your side?
Yeah, everything is good.
Awesome.
We're working on it.
So good job and good work. And while the data analytics circle works, we are going to the next topic of the agenda, and we are going into the CRISP presentation. That being said, Esther, I believe you'll be part of that presentation or leading it, but you will have all the CRISP members involved. Is that correct?
Yeah, so I will do a little presentation on what it is and how we went about the review process and creating process around this, and then we'll open up for questions from everybody about anything that we've discussed and so on. Yeah, and it will be hopefully by then the results will have been counted, probably well before we finish talking about the process, but we'll try to be very engaging and on our best behavior.
Sure. And I
I
think
just
it's
want to
also
share that. Sorry,
very
go ahead.
nice. I would just say that it was also very nice for transparency for everyone to understand the process and all of that. Because, you know, people arrive here, they saw a big number of ideas, and now we come here with 5 ideas. So it's definitely good for people to know how we reached this stage and all the work that was done in the background that people don't know about.
For sure. Yeah, I think it's really important that people know how it goes. And if there's any detail in here that isn't very clear or that people want more information about, then of course we're very, very happy to provide that. And I think a blog post as well went out recently to detail what we did. But again, yeah, just ask us either here or in DM as well. That's fine. And I just wanted to mention that it's been a really wonderful 6 months with the CRISP. I really enjoyed working with everybody and with the pre-CRISP as well. It's been a really kind of professional process, and I just really just enjoyed working with everybody so much to get our teeth into the little details. It's so surprising that when you develop a process like this, you think it's going to be straightforward. You think it's going to be oh, like we'll just filter the ideas, right? We'll just filter it. But actually, when you get down to it, then it becomes a much more complicated process, and every tiny part of that process has to be consciously designed and has to be developed fit for purpose, and that includes things like the criteria and things like the tooling and so on. So I think everyone did really well, and I think that it ultimately we were pretty successful in helping the best ideas move forward here. I want to congratulate the winners as well. Before their advance, all the finalists really. I think the quality of the ideas was really good, and I can see that you all got a lot of praise in the chat and in the reaction. So I think that was very well earned. Can I share screen now? Is that possible? Yeah.
Yes, you can.
Can you all see my screen now?
Yes, we can.
Oh, perfect. Okay. So this is the CRISP. I'm not going to read out the title because I'm still not sure that this is the correct title for what the CRISP actually stands for. It's not, is it? Okay. Well, we'll leave that there and draw a line under it, and maybe we will think of some other slightly more intuitive term that we can create an acronym out of. So what is the CRISP? Well, of course, you know that we've created this ideation challenge, and we needed some way to move from 150 ideas to, well, originally we were hoping to come up with 9 or 10. Ultimately ended up being 5, but we wanted a manageable number of ideas to come through to the community, and we did think that it was very important for it to come through to a community vote and be part of the process rather than just having a group of people or possibly 2 groups of people involved in the decision making around this. So we really did want all of you to see the best ideas and decide what the priorities are in line with Deep Funding's ethos. And the process, of course, is to take these kind of big picture ideas and move them forward through an RFP writing process into a full RFP that is developed via Deep Funding. Our process was created to ensure transparency and fairness, scalability, and high quality ideation. So in addition to making sure that the best ideas come to the top, we also wanted to make sure that the process was fair and that it could, at the moment, there were 150 ideas, but we wanted it to go up to any number of ideas potentially. So it's still an ongoing process. At the moment, it's still works on a smallish scale, and we would be very challenged if suddenly it became 2,000 to 3,000 ideas, and we would have to. We are thinking about things like automations to support in future rounds going forward, and future challenges going forward. So it is an ongoing process to try to design something scalable. I think we did pretty well. The next challenge will be BGI Nexus filtering process, and that's already more. It's 250 ideas. So we will see how we scaled and how it's possible to scale this process to the next one, which I guess will be pretty much our second experiment. We can consider it an experiment, version 1 and version 2. So yes, this is a way to get ideas from the kind of raw stage to RFP and then to development. Just for full transparency here, you can meet the CRISP team. So there's of course myself, and there's Tommy and Riyadh, who were part of an original 5 members, but we sadly lost 2 other commitments. A couple of other members, Sonny and Giga, dropped out a couple of months into the process. And we were joined by Gilvania and Richard. So these are the 5 people who are on the CRISP now. Because we are aiming for full decentralized processes, we are going to rotate out, or at least I, Tommy, and Riyadh are going to rotate out to make way for new CRISP members. And Gilvania and Richard will remain for continuity purposes and to continue their excellent work on the CRISP in the next round of ideation. And we will remain in a sort of advisory and consultancy capacity to help and help to develop the processes, but we won't actually be involved. Riyadh and Tommy and I won't actually be involved in the filtering this time. So I think I've more or less covered what's here. It's so we needed a structured way. We needed to cover also ethical and mission alignment. So in addition to thinking about the quality of ideas, we were thinking about safety and ethics going forward. And we were thinking also deeply about the kind of technical and budget feasibility. So we were thinking during the pre-CRISP and the CRISP processes, we had slightly different criteria. We started out with a 2-layer evaluation model. So we started out with a fast filtering process with the pre-CRISP, and they had a sort of simplified set of criteria that they were looking at: problem clarity, feasibility, alignment, innovation, and impact. And they had a special form that they were filling in. And then the CRISP did a more deep review. So thinking about all of the same criteria that the pre-CRISP were looking at, but also about how realistic the budget was, a proper look at ethics and safety, things like technical validity and revenue potential as well. So does it offer the opportunity for it to become a revenue stream for deep funding and the deep funding community? And the final thing that we added as an innovation, which I think was Tommy's idea, was the golden ticket. So reviewers could fast track ideas that were considered to be exceptional. The pre-CRISP were also given the opportunity to create golden tickets, and the CRISP also. So there were some ideas that were fast tracked, and I'm not going to tell you who fast tracked which ideas and which ones were fast tracked out of the 5 winners, because I don't want to tip the scales at all. But yeah, so this was our first experiment, doing fast screening and then a deep review process. Because this was an experiment, so the way that this is meant to work in future is that the pre-CRISP does this fast screening process to begin with, and then the CRISP gets a subset of those ideas that are considered particularly high quality. But in this case, because it was a pilot, we needed to test the alignment between the 2 groups. So both groups did all of the ideas just to make sure that there was a kind of good alignment between the 2 groups. So that helped us to cross-validate, helped us to reduce bias, and really helped us to understand what was going right and what was going wrong in the process. So helped to evaluate the performance of the 2 groups. And this was for 150 ideas. So it was quite a packed week for us all when we were doing all of these reviews. So what did we achieve? we managed to validate the two-layer filtering model. I think that that's probably quite a good route forward in the future, particularly because it involves more people as well. So having somebody outside a small group of people, even if the crisp rotates on a regular basis, it's still a relatively small number of people, and we sort of felt uncomfortable with the idea that that would be the only people who were looking at it. Plus, also very labor intensive and not very scalable. And then, of course, we generated this short list of excellent ideas, and we produced a lot of data for figuring out how we're going to do the next experiment with the BGI Nexus ideas. The next steps for the CRISP, I think we're really hoping to amplify the capabilities and scalability of the operation. One is the wonderful new ideation portal. I think this, if I'm not mistaken, this was the last time it happened through the website, and the next one will be taking place through the ideation portal that's developed in Deep Funding Labs. Is that right? Right. So there should be also the capability in time to be able to compare it to other in an automated fashion, be able to compare it with other projects and proposals that have been put through deep funding already to avoid duplication, and to be able to kind of group duplicate ideas, not necessarily for immediate dismissal, but to kind of see which ones are speaking along the same topic, and is it because they're AI generated, and is it because they happen to be just big areas of concerns for people? It could be either of those things. Like I said, we're going to rotate some of us out, making way for new CRISP members. We're going to be recruiting 3 new people to take on that responsibility and stay on in this kind of alumni capacity. And a couple of things that we've additionally thought of to try and improve this process is to, well, BGI Nexus had 3 categories. So in a way that already supports us by grouping types of ideas. And so the notion is that in the first phase, the pre-CRISP, the reviewers will be grouped according to their specialisms. So hopefully it will increase the quality of filtering at this early stage, and make the process a bit more seamless, because it means that the people with the right kind of expertise are paired with the right kinds of ideas. And the other thing that we're improving is the kind of scoring form. So we found that fast screening does work. So it is useful, I think, going forward as a means of filtering the kind of first wave of proposals, of ideas, sorry. But we found that it was quite a severe limitation, that it was just a yes or no criterion. So originally it was just a kind of star system, 1 star or no stars to signal whether that is a yes or a no. But we didn't really have a way to determine why people didn't like certain ideas, especially when they were ideas that the CRISP did like. And so I think that in future we're going to instate a kind of star method, five stars scoring system, so that we can see which criteria things are falling down on, or alternatively which criteria things are preferred for. We think that it is important to do kind of deep reviews from, especially in these early stages, but going forward from time to time. So this alignment check, I think, was very important, and I do think that it's useful to kind of do a kind of cross section for both groups occasionally to just analyze what's going on in the process and have a self-reflective cycle. Yeah, the flexibility that the golden ticket offered, I think, was really useful. It can be very useful when somebody sees something, a kernel of something in an idea that other people didn't see. I think that can be just as important as consensus on an idea. So I do think that the golden ticket is a useful way to move forward, and a good way, at least, to have good debates about some of the ideas. Not necessarily all of them going through in the end, but at least sparking good debates about the potential in certain ideas. And as we were discussing before, transparency and documentation build trust. So we will have clear documentation about the criteria, which I think will be clearer about as well on the ideation submission portal. And And of course, all of this information will be made available to the community afterwards. Yeah, I think I covered everything else. It's hopefully will be scalable, I look forward to the next phase in the CRISP's future and the future of ideation. And I'm going to stop rambling and I'll hand it over to the rest of the CRISP and to the community to ask plenty of questions. I think that it would be best if we left the legal discussion to afterwards, simply to avoid stealing the thunder of the wonderful finalists who are about to find out what the results are going to be. So if you wouldn't mind holding that for now, I'll open for other questions and then we can announce the winners. And then if that conversation still needs to happen at the end of the call, then that's perfectly fine. Does that sound okay to everyone?
Actually, no, because I think I've been patient and it sounds like you're excusing people to leave rather than have that conversation. So how about if we have the conversation and then people can wait for the announcement? And then people stick
How about
around.
if we have the announcement? How about if we have the announcement and give the winners their due and you wait?
Well, what I'm saying is I have waited. We could have had this conversation at the beginning of the
So
meeting.
be patient longer and let the winners have their due.
No, I'm not the decision maker, but I'm just raising my objection. But go ahead, do what you want.
All right. I guess
Can I make a short comment on something a little bit more positive?
Sure.
This presentation reminded me that I didn't do the crisp enough justice in my introduction. And I really want to thank you most heartily for all the work that you've been doing here. And this last slide with all these insights was really great. And that we've learned so much is very valuable in itself. I also would like to emphasize that this team was really self-steering. You have gone through all the process, you've thought through it. I only very rarely got some update on what was happened, and that's how it's supposed to be. It should be in this stage the circle community that has been defining this, and not any particular leadership committee or something. So yeah, I think you did a great job. I want to thank you for it, and I think you built a wonderful foundation for us to build on going forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Jan. Riyad, you have your hand up? Riyad, are you there?
Yeah, hi, can you hear me?
Now we can, yes.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. Yeah, I just want to address something that this process of the CRISP has taken a lot of manual steps. There are so many things that we had to do manually. There are so many detailed things that we had to go through since it's the first iteration or the first time. And hence maybe there are some people which maybe not be satisfied with the results or the whole process, but then since it's the first time and everything had to happen manually, we made sure that at least in the next iteration, everything would be better, the process would be improved, the outcome would be improved, and everything. So I think it's at some point it's only fine for maybe some people to like or not like whatever we came up with, but I think there's so much efforts went into this from several people who are experienced, who are the CRISP members, I would say. And yeah, I mean, I would say in the next iteration, you're gonna probably notice the results in a better way. That's it. Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Riyad. Also, some things important to address. There will be an announcement also at the end about next steps, next opportunities, what's going to happen. That will be given a little bit by Rafael, or an announcement of an announcement, let's call it that way, because we are going to leave the announcement itself and the start for next Thursday, the last town hall of the year. Also, really important, this is also for you, Kenrick. We would like the next town hall and the last session to be also a session where we're going to have like deeper feedback into this CRISP process, into everything. So I also would like you to go there and express your feedback, also your, which is more important, your advice for improvement of the process, also on the legal side or whatever it is. I think that would be also a fantastic moment. But of course, we'll give you also the time to speak. Don't worry today for sure.
Well, and maybe what I would say is I could take the 3 minutes, in other words, there was 3 minutes allocated for our team to present. So I'm wondering if I could have that 3 minutes right now and present why we didn't, why we withdrew.
Let me just check. Oscar, how are the results going? You were saying you had a little problem with the dashboard.
It's coming off nicely. Yeah.
When do you think they will be ready?
In 2 to 3 minutes time.
Well, I guess this is almost destiny, yeah. So, hopefully, if you could do it a bit shorter, Kendrick, because it's not a normal presentation, that would be amazing. And also because we would love you to dive deeper in a constructive way, if you can, in next town hall, or by message, if you prefer.
Sure. So I'll keep it to 2 or 3 minutes. Fotrec is, tried to be a terrific member of this community, and we really love this community, and we've tried to have an impact on it, and we want to continue to do that. However, it's about 9 months ago that it was announced that the Singularity Net treasury through the deep funding program would be managed by a private corporation. Now, right away, that raises concern because private corporations are not organized for the purpose of representing communities. So Jan keeps saying that the purpose of deep funding incorporated is to represent the community. However, by corporate law, that's not the case. So for instance, in his message, he said that we're not seeking to maximize profits. Well, I understand it's a private small group, but by corporate law, that statement is a violation of corporate laws, and owners of the corporations could take issues with managers who are not seeking to maximize profits. So there's an inconsistency between what's being said publicly and what's been established under the registration of the Deep Initiatives Incorporation. And then we get to the very first fund that they're managing. And sure enough, the first thing they do is they say that we own all of the intellectual property. And again, there is a statement about open source, but this is not an open source contract. And there isn't any community or, there's not really anything such thing as community ownership. You have to have licenses that follow something like a Creative Commons. And the key thing is they have to put restrictions on an organization like Deep Initiatives Incorporation. That's not happening. So I see I'm at my 2 minutes. I'll stop there. I'm happy to take questions. I see a question. Abdul.
Okay. Thank you very much, Henrik. A just quick question I want to ask is that I am very sure that you are a very prominent person in Cardano ecosystem. I just want to ask, what can you say about the Cardano ecosystem as a whole in relation to this kind of process when it comes to community-owned projects?
Yeah, so I'm just one observer, but yes, we do participate in both Cardano and Singularity Net, and both communities have great things that they're doing. Both communities have challenges. So for instance, if the objective was for this Deep Initiatives to be a community representative, then it could have and perhaps should have been set up as a members-based organization, similar to the Intercept program that was set up within the Cardano community. That would have a nonprofit registration, and then it would also have bylaws regarding the community involvement in the actual management of the organization. I don't think that, I'm not aware that any of that is in place with regard to Deep Initiatives Incorporated.
I think we wouldn't want to keep the community here waiting. Probably if you have the time next week, Thursday, you can talk more about this. I got to talk a lot more about Intersect that you mentioned as a reference. Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, I think that will also be ideal. I'll give a little call to Ubio, and then we need to announce the winners. So Ubio, please, you had your hand up also from before.
Yeah. So for me, I'm trying to understand why Kenrick thinks this is the best time for us to have this conversation. I think it's a very good conversation, but I'm trying to relate it to the open ideation challenge we're doing here. I'm trying to know, is
Well,
this
the relation is that we were selected, Photrek had a proposal to build a plural voting RFP. And we were selected to present, and we were asked to sign this waiver. And I think it's important to be able to communicate to the community why we think this waiver agreement was not appropriate. And it was our recommendation that I just posted today that the participants should be withdrawing their waiver. This waiver does not support an open source community. And it's my recommendation that the participants who were selected, and particularly the ones that get awarded, the first thing they should do is withdraw that waiver and insist on a better contract.
Wow.
okay? I think now that context makes the conversation better. Thank you.
Well, thanks for sharing your opinions, Kenrick. Hopefully, the proposers will also make their own decisions with their own minds and their own voting. But thank you for sharing. And if you are interested in constructively helping, would love to have you on the next town hall to share your insights.
Sure, happy to do that.
That being said, let's go to the voters and to the results. I believe, Alfred, you'll be the one sharing the results.
Yes.
Are you here?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right, let me share my screen quick. Okay, is my screen visible?
Yes, it is.
All right, all right. Okay. So yeah, thank you everyone for taking part in this voting exercise on these wonderful ideas. Yeah, so the dashboard you see right now shows the results of your votes. And as Rafa said earlier on, these results were calculated based on the average rating scores.
We will share also
So
that. I will share that with everyone here so you guys can see. And basically what the
all
team
right.
did was pick up these values and do a weighted average for calculation of the average score. Please continue, Alfred.
All right. All right. So per the results, the first idea that topped the chart, had the highest average score was AI Uncertainty Navigator for Singularity Net. That was the highest score. And then the second is
Congratulations to Barnabas.
AI powered anti-corruption watchdog. That was the
Barnabas, no.
second on the list. And then the third idea with the third average score is defunding university network. The fourth idea, refugee care AI and meta-based decentralized workflow orchestrator, didn't make it to the top three. So that is the results for the AI ideas, the ideation, sorry. Yeah.
All right, thank you so much. Congratulations, right, to Barnabas, to Rafael John, and to Ayomi Shuga. And of course, a big thank you also to Rakesh and to Ashwani if they reach this stage, they were already winners in many ways because it was not easy. It was 150 proposals. So congratulations to you guys. Yeah, they were the first awarded teams, the idea first awarded ideas on deep funding, which is pretty amazing. And now it's going to be really nice to check what happens. I've heard that there will be a place where you can check the progress on these ideas that will be public and everyone can see what's happening. So that will be a great way for you to keep track of the impact this what we're doing here at. A big congratulations. I don't know if Crisp, you'd like to say, anyone from the Crisp would like to say a few words to the winners or anything like that.
Congrats, guys.
Wow.
I mean, I can't say it. I think it takes courage to submit an idea, especially if you're not necessarily the person who's going to execute the idea as well. And I'm really glad to see so many people from the community stepping up and doing that. And I really hope that you'll continue in the next rounds of open ideation and the next themed ideation as well. Because yeah, keep them coming because we need the best ideas both for the world at large and for improving deep funding itself. I think that channel for participation for not necessarily developers is profoundly important because it gives you the power to shape deep funding. So once again, thank you so much to the ideators for coming here, for presenting, and for submitting their excellent ideas.
Thank you so much, Esther. Tommy, you have a hand up. Go ahead.
Yes, I'd like to say congratulations. The amount of work that went into evaluating your ideas and the community of deep funding was tremendous. This process was not for teams. It was not for projects. It was not for established RFPs, but this was for pure raw ideas. Apparently, some projects slipped through our refinement process, but in the end, the ideas came out, and you're all winners. So, congratulations. But I'd also like to congratulate Deep Funding because of the depth. In 6 months, we spun up from a concept, we spun up several teams that went across the ecosystems to today. So congratulations, Deep Funding. Congratulations to the ideas that just may have an impact on someone else in the world. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tommy. Giovanna, please go.
Hi. Yeah, I also would like to congratulate all the teams that proposed ideas and share that was a great experience going through so interesting ideas with a team that worked so well and that we could learn so much through this process. And I'm very glad to see that we had a great engagement of the community today. So yeah, I'd like to thank everybody present here and to congratulate the 3 winners. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Congratulations to the winners. Congratulations to all the presenters. And congratulations also to the voters. Thank you for being here and for voting and for helping us in this big decision. Any of the projects would deserve to win, and it's amazing to see these 3 winners. I would say as well, any feedback, any questions you have the next town hall is a great place for that discussion. Also, I've let the link in the chat for you guys to register. Also, there will be other presentations about ideation and the next steps. And with that being mentioned, Rafael, maybe you want to do the announcement of the announcement? Of the announcement? No,
The
I'm joking.
announcement, no, but it's really good, right? That's catchy. But first, Cardozo, I would love to congratulate you guys from the event circle. You did an amazing work here as well, especially when we see that 75 people joined this meeting and we went pretty extremely and without much frictions, which is pretty regular for some events like this one here. I am really amazed for this joint works, Crisp, presenters, event circle, review circle, and everyone that is involved here. Congratulations for the 150 ideas, because potentially we have less ideators as well, but it's amazing to see how this community can source so much life and looking for the next step of deep funding. So yes, and here goes the announcement of the announcement, right? But before this, of course, CRISP, congratulations with the idea itself of making this event to award the teams and make this interaction with the community. This was amazing. First time I heard, I said, yes, that's what we need. That's what we want, to have more and more in the funding to engage the community and also bring more value to what we do. Okay, so thank you very much, all of you. Not only congratulations, but thank you very much for all of you that are part of this. Now, Tommy, you have your hands up. Would you like to? No? Okay. So for the announcement of the announcement, as it was announced before, next week we have a very special town hall. It's going to be the last town hall of 2025. And it's exactly what we are going to do. As we celebrated this achievement of CRISP, now we are going to set the next steps on how deep funding will source these funds. And it's directly related to the ideas that come through the community itself. You are the ones that are definitely making this possible here, and we are only facilitators into that. And considering this role of deep funding, we are improving our set of features, tools, processes, and so on the ideas that we have towards the funds. Okay. For the next town hall, we are going to have three main topics, being the new vision for ideas and how ideas will provide deep fundings operations and also results. We are going to have also a very nice presentation. Esther made some points here about it, but for our new ideation portal that is going to be launched in that same meeting. It's a whole new set of features in this portal that will not only be more friendly for you users, but also will give more flexibility when operates this ideation pipeline, right? So this is the main topics for the upcoming event, and the main one, which probably all of you will be very interested in here, is we are launching a new ideation challenge next Thursday. Okay, I will not tell you what's the topic of this new ideation now, the new ideation challenge, but I can tell you that it's going to provide support for what SNET and deep funding are cooking for 2026. So we are willing to have you being part of this, contributing, and also pushing us forward towards our so desired AGI environment. Okay, so thank you very much again for all of you. Looking forward for your participation next week. I hope we have 75 plus members participating. Perhaps, Rafael, let's double this number. Might be interesting, right? Since we are having so much news and good stuff around it. And yeah, see you next week. Looking forward to it.
Thank you so much for the announcement. Once again, I guess we should congratulate the winners, of course. Also, you'll be contacted through the same way we contacted you initially about the next steps. So don't worry about that. And congratulations on the $1,000 prize from being selected. And could become more if it becomes a valuable RFP, approved RFP. So yeah, you'll have a place to track that, don't worry. But that being said, I would say, as Raphael said, I would invite you once again, come to the town hall next session, and let's make it a great event. And put all your questions and come learn about what we have cooking for the next year. So it's going to be pretty special. It's going to be the last of the year. And additionally, I just wanted to thank everyone involved, participants, proposers, voters, also a lot of work from the CRISP, marketing, with sharing this event, creating graphs, also data analytics with the voting, and everyone also at the event circle. So thank you all for making this possible. And guys, if you're here today, hopefully you'll come to more events and you'll help us make it a little bit more fantastic each event, like Raphael was mentioning. Well, thank you so much. The link toward the town hall is in the chat. And that being said, I hope to see you next week, Thursday, 6 p.m. UTC. Bye-bye, everyone. Congratulations and thank you.
Thank you so much, Raphael, for your wonderful
Oh,
hosting.
maybe before that, hackathons in Nigeria, don't forget. Right, Ubio?
You do.
And in India.